What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Blothers podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And my name is Gor Arieli. And in this episode, we are going to compare athletes from different sports.
Yeah, I mean it's a little tough, but there are a lot of players that are very similar, and not just the way that they play, but how they impact their respective leagues.
Yeah.
So why don't we get right into it? So one of the ones that we thought were Messi and LeBron
Mm-hmm.
right now, right? Not even just talking about let's first talk about right now, right? They're still some of the best in the game. In both
Arguably the best.
arguably the best in the respective leagues. They're dominant on pretty much everything, and they impact the game greatly. And talking about all time, even I think personally that they're both I think Messi is the greatest soccer player of all time, and I think LeBron's the best basketball player of all time. So it just works very well together.
Yeah, I mean, you can also, for both of them, you can say that they had the talent, right? And obviously they had to work hard. You have to work hard no matter how much talent they have.
Yeah.
But you can see that these guys have pure talent and pure IQ in what they do. And also, I mean, you can say that both players, they won everything there is to win in their respective sports.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's a great comparison. I think it's actually a spot on comparison, right? They both have they're both getting way overpaid at an old age.
Yes.
So you can definitely say that they're similar, and maybe you can even say that they're bang on.
Yeah. And even now today, thinking about the future, they're going to be with pretty much new squads going into the next season.
Yeah.
Now Messi with PSG and LeBron with all these new players next season, it's going to be very different from what they see them.
Yeah.
Okay, the next comparison we had was three people actually. Patrick Mahomes, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Gord, do you want to talk about those three players?
I mean, they're both young. I mean, all of them. I mean, all three of them. They're young. They're great players in each of their respective sports, and their ceiling is way higher than they're playing right now. So I think it's also a really good comparison because you see these young players dominate all of their sports and make headlines and trophies. So you can say, I mean, that's a great comparison in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what you said. I mean, their ceiling is insane. I mean, they are phenomenal players already so young into the game. They're both extremely fast, strong, very dominant, and they have they have so much potential for what they can do. And even though
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes and Giannis, they've been able to win it for their respective teams, Mbappe will be able to do that soon.
I mean, it's not like Mbappe hasn't won anything. He's won league one multiple times in France. So
Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
like
like
he's won nothing, but
yeah.
still. Okay, let's go on to the next comparison. Ronaldo, we thought Cristiano Ronaldo, comparing him with two players, but they're pretty much the same person, just different eras, is what I think. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't even need to talk about how dominant those guys are, but the number one thing of why we compared them is because of their work ethic.
Mhm.
They coming into the league straight away, they have worked extremely hard and got to the level they got to. Because when you see guys that come into the league, like for example LeBron, right? They had high expectations for LeBron coming right out of high school. Like people knew he was going to be great. And players like Ronaldo, Kobe, MJ, they needed to prove and show for themselves what they can do. And they
Mhm.
pushed the limits and pushed it even further to get to be some of the best of all time.
Yeah, I mean, all three of these players have gotten to where they are just by sheer work ethic, just by working their asses off every single day of every single second of every single day, just working and trying to perfect their craft and trying to be better, be the best. And that's why I think that all three of them have gotten to the levels that they've gotten to. And Ronaldo is arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time,
arguably.
arguably. And Kobe is arguably, very arguably, the best player of all time in basketball.
He's definitely one of the best basketball players.
Yeah.
He's not.
So they all became the best by just working their butts off every single day.
Yeah.
And
Also,
that's why it's a good comparison.
yeah, definitely. And also the longevity of their careers, how long they were able to stay dominant. I mean, MJ for 15 years, uh, Kobe for 20 years, Ronaldo for what is it?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years, yeah. So it's unbelievable how long they've been able to play this efficiently and impact the league. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So going on to the next one, which is we've had some disagreements on this one, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. Shohei Otani, who I think is an unbelievable player. He is he's a phenomenal pitcher for the Angels, but not only that, he's leading in home runs, which is insane for a pitcher. So
I mean, it's insane for just any player to be leading the league in home runs.
Well, yeah, but especially for a pitcher, because I mean, most pitchers don't really hit at all.
Yeah.
They'll hit maybe once or twice during the game, and then they'll just bring in the pinch hitter. But now you've got like this, they want him to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's the designated hitter. So before I say mine, who do you have as comparing him?
I have him compared to Kawhi, because I think the reason that you can't compare him to Luka is because you can't say that Luka is great on both sides of the ball like you can with Shohei and that you can with Kawhi. I think Kawhi has it all. I think Shohei has it all. That's why I think that they should be compared to each other. And I think that comparing Shohei to Luka, and don't get me wrong, Luka's a great player, but he isn't amazing on both sides of the ball like Kawhi and Shohei.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much my player, Luka Doncic. But I mean, I think Kawhi is a phenomenal player. But the one thing why I pick Luka mostly over Kawhi is for the fact that Luka and Shohei are extremely young. They're not even close to being at their ceilings. They can do so much more already. Kawhi is pretty much getting to that point. He's what, 30, 31 now? And he's getting to that point where it's gonna be over. Probably in the next few years, we're gonna see him start to die down. And obviously, Kawhi can do it on both ends of the court, both offensively and defensively. But I look at Luka as being a great all-around player, right? He can score.
But you can't say all around. You can't say all around if he's not a great defender, because that's not all around. You can say he's great all around offensively, and I agree with that. But you can't say he's a great all around player if he's not that good on defense.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, if I'm comparing Kawhi and Luka, I'm picking Kawhi Leonard. I think Kawhi Leonard's a better player. But even Shohei Otani, I think he's a phenomenal player. He'll probably win the AL MVP. But I don't put him yet as, I mean, I'd have to think about it, but I don't know if I put him yet as a top 5 player in the MLB, right? Kawhi, I put him as a top 5 player in the NBA. I think he's already gotten to that point, regardless of what happened in the playoffs and him being injured and whatever. He was phenomenal in the regular season, and he's been phenomenal for the past few years. Luka and Shohei are both top 10 in their respective leagues, but they're not at the level yet where I'd put them in top 5, but they have potential to even be, both of them I think have potential to be the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put Luka.
I mean, I can see your point, but I think that yes, you can choose to compare the not actual play style aspects like age and ceiling and potential and what they are now in terms of like how good they are in their respective leagues. But I think that if you're comparing someone, their play style has to be similar, right? You look at Messi and LeBron, our first comparison. They both are great passers of the ball. They can both score from anywhere, right? So I think that yes, LeBron and Messi are are close in terms of age and contracts and all that stuff, but also their play style is close. So that's why I think it's a good comparison. Yes, with Kawhi, he's not as young as Shohei is, but their play styles are similar in the fact that they can both do it all. So that's why I think it's a much better comparison than Luka's.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I see your point, but I just think that in terms of how they're going to be playing, not just now, but in the future, that's mostly why I just picked Luka. But I mean, I'm still think that Kawhi's better than Luka. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
But let's go on to the final comparison: Kevin Durant and Lewandowski. So, talk about that comparison.
Okay, so I mean, Robert Lewandowski, the best striker in the world in world soccer, best striker in the world. He's absolutely lethal from anywhere. You can say the same about KD, right? KD on offense, is there anyone who can stop him? No. And same with Lewandowski. Like, this man scored 40 goals in a single Bundesliga season last year. That's crazy. That's the record for this all-time record, and it's also it shows that he can't be stopped. And also, if you look at other stuff that they have, like their age is pretty similar. They're both getting up there in age. They both won pretty much everything there is to win in their respective sports. So I think this may be our second best comparison that we had after Messi and LeBron. And I see the similarities like so clearly.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think they're both unstoppable. Some people could, I mean, people argue that they're the best in their respective leagues, right? I mean, there's definitely an argument for that. And I mean, pretty much everything they were saying, they dominate completely offensively. Both KD on how he's able to shoot the ball from the three, from the mid range. I mean, people think some about he's the best scorer in the league right now. And
Mhm.
Lewandowski is the best scorer in soccer, or one of the best scorers. So it's a great comparison, and I'm happy we picked that.
Yeah, I'm too.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Gore Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and make sure to tune in for a new one on Wednesday.